Good morning. This is Asya Haikin, and it's Sun and Moon Yoga Studio. And today we'll be looking at old poses in new ways. So I often feel like lately I'm always waking up in the same day, right? And I'm sure you've had that Groundhog Day feeling too. So with our yoga practice, I feel like that's what we'll learn with the yoga practice. We do pretty much a lot of the same poses every day, but what's different is that each day you're a different person. So as we do the same pose, it's always new, it's always different. But the tricky part is to really feel that, to experience that, and to be inspired every day to get up and to do things that we want to do and things that we need to do. So we'll look today at our familiar poses, and we'll just dig a little bit deeper to find something new, something a little different, something that feels fresh. So let's go to our mats, and we'll start out in table pose. So from table pose, just take a moment to move your hips back towards your heels. And allow your back to round and create some support for your forehead. Just taking child's pose here. And as you come into your child's pose, notice your breathing. Just really sink into that sensation of the breath as you feel your breath move through the body. Just really noticing, where is your breath moving? Noticing all parts of the body where you feel that movement. Notice if you can feel it all the way into your lower back, almost all the way back to your tailbone. And with your next in-breath, start to unroll from your child's pose. Let's reach the arms forward. Taking a few breaths here, again noticing. And then rolling up, just coming into table. So think of the four legs of your table, the hands and the knees. So you always hear a table pose, but I want you to really feel here. Just be that table. So notice how the weight can distribute through the four limbs. Feel really steady in your table pose, rooting down. Just notice what it feels like to be really firm, really steady. Now in your table pose, go ahead and shift the weight into your right hand. Just feel more weight in your right hand. And then go ahead and feel more weight in your right knee. So we're going to move our table pose. We're going to move around to just make something totally different from this. So feel the weight in your left knee and feel the weight in your left hand. Just begin to shift the weight, and it doesn't have to be a big movement. You can just slightly move, but as you shift the weight between the limbs, notice how your torso starts moving. Notice how your spine starts moving. And perhaps making this a little bigger, but really go slowly so you spend time as you shift the weight from one limb to the next, as you find this circular movement. And as you continue exploring this, just take this in the direction that your body wants you to go. So either making it bigger, making it smaller, modifying. And at some point, go ahead and switch direction. Just notice what happens when you start moving in the other direction as you continue to shift the weight. from one limb to the next in a circular way. Left hand, left knee, right hand. Then eventually settling in the middle. And just for a moment, coming back to that firmness and steadiness. Just notice how you can transition between fluidity and stability. And then go ahead and stretch back into child's pose. Let's give our hands and wrestle a break here as we pause in child's. With your next inhalation, roll up. Walk your hands towards the right side of the mat. Curling sideways. And then from this position, go ahead and stretch your hips back. So you're coming into an extended child's pose, but you're off center. So we're going to stay here for a little bit. So what do you notice immediately? So if you're stretching to the right, you're probably aware of the left side and those ribs spreading. So just spend some time there. And then eventually start shifting your focus into the right side. So that side right now is a little shorter and it may be harder to feel into it. But take some time to really feel into your right side here. Notice what it feels like to breathe in both sides in this asymmetrical position. Notice that asymmetry. Notice both sides. Inhale, come up and walk your hands across to the other side. And then move your hips back, just going slowly as always. One side is always different from the other. Draw the hips back. And just starting with the obvious, the stretched out side, the right side. Noticing that. And then noticing the opposite side. Perhaps breathing into it. Adding a little space there. Just notice as you do that, notice how both sides start feeling more even though you are in an asymmetrical position. And coming up, walk your hands to center. So let's counter that with some symmetrical movement, moving the hips back. And just notice the left side and the right side. Inhale, bring the shoulders back just forward. And exhale, move the hips back towards the heels. And then we'll end up in table pose again. Coming to all fours. Our four-legged table. Feel those four legs, four limbs. Let's widen the knees a little bit. We're just going to create a wider base for our twist here. Let's reach up with the right arm, turning the chest. Take a moment here. So we often move quickly through this kind of prep movement. So as you stay here, notice what's happening. Grounding with your left hand, the arm that's on the floor, and turning the chest to open. And then slide your right arm underneath the left arm. So we're going to land that shoulder on the floor, right on the midline. And I'm turning the head. So as I bring my head down, I'm trying to look up maybe just a little bit towards the ceiling. And as I land my shoulder, I try to stay close to the left hand. So I'm not getting close to the knees here, but I'm keeping that length between the hips and the shoulders. So once I've landed on the floor, I'm just going to stay here, just hanging out here. Staying right there, pressing the Left hand into the floor. I'll take that from a different direction so you can see if you need. Pressing the left hand into the floor to work on that twist. Now notice how that twist is moving into your upper back as you press with the left hand, as you twist. And then if you feel steady in your position, bring your left arm straight up as you reach up through the arm, through the fingers. Just staying right there, breathing and lifting that arm, opening. So in this twist, continue to find your back bend, your opening in the chest. As you reach the arm, feel the shoulder blade. Feel the chest open. Breathe. So in this twist, can you find the back bend? So it's one of my favorite things to find back bends in all kinds of poses. So we'll look for that today in some other poses. You're reaching up through that arm. You're rolling the shoulder back. Just a couple more breaths here. And if you need to come out, definitely come out. And then bring your arm down and bring yourself up into table. Okay, just taking some time here to resettle. We've been in this pose for quite some time. Okay, I'll turn around so I can see you as I demonstrate. Now let's lead with the left arm. So we're going to bring it up and turn the chest up as we open. And so again, spending some time here, grounding with the right hand, turning the chest, opening. Then slide the arm through, bring it under, tuck the shoulder, landing the shoulder on the midline, turning the head, keeping the distance between the shoulder and the hip. As you land here, pressing the right hand into the floor and keeping that hand on the floor if you need, or bring it up. Just noticing what your breath feels like as you come into this twist, reaching up through the arm, and then perhaps taking it a little bit into the back bend. Just having that intention of bringing your upper back into this, finding some extension in the upper back as you turn the chest. And then exhaling, bringing the arm down and making your way up. Pausing here to recenter and bringing both hips back as you reach the arms forward. Now spread your fingers, landing your palms for down dog. Tuck your toes. Coming up into down dog, or just staying in puppy dog here. So this will work. Or lifting the knees up. Just taking some time here to do what your body needs to do or what it's used to doing, just to find your dog pose, perhaps the first one of this morning. And eventually finding more stability through the arms and finding more lift through the hips. And so let's take our dog pose also in a circle. So I want you to shift your weight into the right hand right now. Just feel like that right hand has more weight. And then shift the weight to your right leg. And then the left leg and the left hand. So start doing these circles, and they can be pretty small or you can make them bigger. Just notice how that feels in your body. Notice how the spine moves, how the shoulders move, and the hips move. And then lengthen back through the hips. So we're going to come down for a little rest before we circle in the opposite direction. Bring the knees down.
Stretch the hips back, relaxing the arms and shoulders. And then let's come up one more time. Tuck your toes, lifting up. Lifting the hips, and then starting with your left hand, left foot, right hand. Perhaps very small circles. And just notice what action does that create in the joints, in the shoulders, and the spine, and the hips. And eventually balancing that out, grounding evenly through the arms and the legs, lifting the hips. And bring the knees down. Bring the arms in, resting in child's pose. And after you've done all these movements, notice what your breath feels like in child's pose right now. Notice where it moves more easily. And then inhale, roll up. And let's make our way up to standing. You can move your props out of the way. And we'll come up to standing. Just notice, what does your body feel like right now? What was all that movement about? All those circles. Let's start with a wide stance. Walk your feet out. Turn the toes out and bend the knees. Create some sense of grounding through the feet and almost feel like you're trying to stretch your mat a little bit with your feet, just pressing out, rooting down and stretching the mat out. And then moving towards straight leg, open the arms out, finding your 5-pointed star pose. Rooting through the legs, reaching through the arms, lengthening up through the crown of the head. Feeling stability as you ground your legs. One new thing that I heard recently that I really liked from Donna Farhi, a master teacher, feel your bent knee in your straight leg, right? So as you straighten your leg, can you still feel your bent knee inside that straight leg? Now let's turn the legs to the right side, the right foot turning out. We'll move into a triangle pose, lengthening over the right hip, folding here. Both sides of the torso long. Lengthening. Just check in here so we can feel our pose being new, being fresh by paying attention. So when we pay attention, things are always new. And to continue exploring and finding new ways to do our poses, let's bring this more into the back bend. So bringing the focus into the upper back and shoulders, turn the chest up, roll the right shoulder back. So remember to maintain the grounding of the legs, stability as you turn the chest up, as you open. And then releasing towards neutral. Press through the feet, come up. Turn the feet forward. Just pause for a moment, feeling both sides. Now turn to the left. Stretch the arms out. Reach over the left hip. Finding your triangle on this side. So this is already something new. That's the second side. It's a new pose on a new side. So from here, finding the back bend, finding the opening in the chest. And just notice, so for me, it's easier on this side just because my right hamstring tends to be a little more flexible than my left. So this makes it easier for me to find that opening in the chest, that back bending action. So I'm turning the chest. So just notice what's true for you here. Stay with your experience. Stay with your breath. As you continue opening the chest, feel your shoulder blade, your right shoulder blade, pressing in towards your ribs as you open the chest. And then slowly release to neutral. Notice what that feels like. Wow, so we haven't traveled a great distance, but this does feel different. Press through the feet and come up. Turn the feet in and step your legs in. Pausing, just checking in. So think of this coming into Tadasana after each pose. It's just like a mini Shavasana that you do at the end of class. You check in, you feel what's happening. Step your legs out again, wide stance. Turn to the right side. Stretch the arms out, bend the right knee. Keep stability in the legs. Reach over into side angle. So as I rest on that right thigh, I keep the back leg steady. So I'm really relying on my back leg quite a bit here. Chest turns towards the front. Reaching the left arm, just do what works for you, okay? Whatever works for your shoulder, you might even stay right here if that feels better for the shoulder. So this is more like in triangle or reaching over. And here, start turning. So as you keep your legs grounded, let the belly turn up towards the ceiling. Let your chest turn. Perhaps the head turn. Notice your breath. Let your breath stay smooth. Keep stability in the legs as you open the chest. And then releasing back towards neutral. Press through the feet, come up, turn legs to the other side. Bend your left knee. Reach over, bring the arm down. Chest turns. And just see what this shoulder wants to do for you. Back leg strong for breathing. Now begin to find your upper back here. Just your expression of a back bend. Could be very small outer movement, but there's a lot happening on the inside. As you lift your chest, bring that shoulder blade towards the ribs. As you open, always staying connected to the breath. A couple more breaths here. Pressing through the feet to come up. Turn the feet in. Step your legs in. Pause at the center. Notice. Let's step the legs wide again. So we're going to do a wide-legged forward bend, and you can use some height under your hands. I'm just going to fold up my blanket here. That will work. Folding from the hips. Bring your fingertips to the floor or to your prop. And there are a few things you can do to bring the floor closer, like bending your knees, right? So here, this is a forward bend, right? My hips are doing a forward bend. But let's find the back bend and the upper spine. As always, rounding the feet, lengthening the spine. Bending the knees more if you need to. So the more you can bend the knees, the easier it will be to find your upper back here. So feel the shoulders roll back as the chest rolls forward. Keep your chin just slightly down so you're not hyperextending the neck. Feel the tailbone drawing back, the whole spine drawing back, and then the crown of the head drawing forward. So they're both directions. Finding that length and extension in the upper back. And then with your exhale, continue moving into the forward bend. Letting the head hang towards the floor and use your fingertips. Move this so you can see. Use your fingertips, draw the arm bones into the shoulder sockets as you let your head hang. Can you find your upper back here? And it's always okay to bend the knees more. And then lengthen, look up, walking your hands forward. Take a few small steps and press through the feet to bring yourself up to standing. And just pause here. Feel the feet, feel the legs. Feel your spine lifting. Now let's bring ourselves back down to the mat and go ahead and line your back. Stretch your legs out. So as you settle here, notice your upper spine. Take a moment to lean slightly to the right and tuck your left shoulder blade under. Then lean slightly to the left and tuck your right shoulder blade under. So you feel the spine move into the body. Bend your knees, lining up the heels under the knees. And on the inhalation, roll up, find your back bend. And of course, bridge pose is a back bend. But notice if you're more aware of that upper back area right now. Rolling up on the inhale and down on the exhale. And then coming down, resting. Let's cross the right heel over the left knee and let that right knee hang away from you. Just taking a little hip release here, draw the legs in towards you. You can reach behind your thigh to bring the legs in a little more. And then just add a little rocking, just side to side. Just a little rocking, side to side. Release, uncross your legs. Take the other leg over. Bring in. Just starting in the center. And then adding a little rocking. So if it's a pose that you normally do statically, holding it in one place, notice what happens as you move. And uncross. Recenter. Bring the knees in towards your chest. Now bring your head up and draw the knees towards the forehead and the forehead towards the knee. Just curling up here, rounding, flexing. Feel your body curling up tightly. And then release. And just do a few windshield wipers. Just any last movements that your body needs right now. That would feel good. Stretch your legs out. Then just settling here for a moment, allowing your eyes to close, your body resting on the floor. With the exhalations, releasing and letting go into the floor. Relaxing the legs and the hips, the back, arms and shoulders, neck, jaw, face. Relaxing the thoughts in your mind. And now beginning to slowly wake up the body, moving the fingers and toes, taking your time to bend your knees and roll to one side. And eventually, please make your way up to a seated position. And just sit upright with your eyes closed. Feel your hips in contact with the floor. And a sense of grounding through the hips and the lift in the spine. Not just being aware that we can always find something new if we focus inward. Each moment is always new. Right now, place your right palm at the heart center, at the center of the chest, placing your left palm on top of the right palm in this heart mudra. Take a moment to feel the palms against your chest. And finding a sense of gratitude for yourself to taking your time to practice. And sending loving kindness to all those close to you, all those around you, and the whole world. And opening your eyes. Namaste. Thank you.